and keep an eye out on TikTok, but I'm mainly going to be directly on YouTube. So you can put your questions, if you do, in TikTok, put them in the Q&A section. If not, if you're commenting on the stream, I am able to see the comments live as well too. So okay, so I want to tell you guys first, we were going to get started in Google Spreadsheets. Okay. Like I said, this is free. Put that down, Grayson. This is free. As long as you have a Google Drive, you have access to Google Spreadsheets. You just click New, and then this is the icon for the sheets, and then you hit New Sheet. Okay, so we'll name this let's name this like budget template. Right. Good morning. Good morning. The connection's not stable. I said, don't worry. TikTok is just up to for the audio portion, so let you guys know that we are live. If you want to see the actual demonstration, you need to go to the YouTube page. We're live on One Crafted Mama 20 on YouTube. You could just go back to the TikTok profile and click on the YouTube link there, and it'll take you directly to the page. Grayson. No, baby. That's trash. Stop. Come on, Pookie. Come on. All right. The little one is wanting a full, he don't want a cameo. He wants to take over the show now. Okay, so for those of you who aren't familiar with Excel, Google Sheets is very similar. It is very similar to Excel. Oh, maybe I left out. Okay. And its formulas are still almost the same. So you've got your sales here. So first thing we do is just going to click on this arrow here, so that I can we'll just rename it, and let's just do Jan for January. So we just do Jan for January, and we'll just put used to having the label and name stuff. I just do it off jump. Okay. So we got name of business here is what we talked about. So this is just the amount of money, amount of sales that you had. That's how you spell revenue. Okay, and then we will probably insert whatever our revenue total was here. So I guess we'll put like let's just put 1,000. Let's make something easy. So we put 1,000 there for our total revenue for the month. Okay. So if you want to, and it just depends on how everybody is, if you wanted to make it look like a full budget sheet, you're more than welcome to hit this $sign here, and it says format as currency. You click that button there, and now it shows, okay, $1,000. So now anything that you put in this cell will show up as in dollar amounts. Okay. That is easy enough, right? Easy peasy. Okay. So the next thing that I want to do is, let's do expenses. I said for right now, I know I gave you guys homework yesterday. I don't know if anybody had a chance to do it. But let's say expenses for the month of January was, let's say $400. So we'll say 400, same deal. And I can hit the currency. Now, here's a trick. If you know that this entire column is going to be a dollar column, just click the A and see how it highlights the whole column. And you can just hit format as currency. And so that way, any number amount you put in this column here, it will be automatically converted to show up in dollars and cents. All right, so let's say you made $1,000 in the month of January, and you had $400 in expenses. we're just covering the general right now. I will go break down into detail to show you how, once you start adding up your different expenses, how to auto calculate all that. We'll get to that. All right, so now I had $1,000 in revenue, and then there was $400 in expenses. So I could drop down, let's just do here, just for the example. Okay, drop down here. So profit. Now, if you remember, during yesterday's live stream, if not, you'll be able to catch it uploaded on the Power Hour on YouTube. Or if you took notes, it is your profit is your total revenue minus your expenses. So for those who are watching on YouTube Live, I've got my TikTok right here as well. I'm just making sure that I'm not missing any questions or comments. So if you see me looking off on the camera, I am okay. I'm just checking TikTok, making sure I'm not missing any questions or comments on there. All right, and then let me make sure I'm not missing anything on YouTube here either. I don't think that I am. Okay. All right, so profit is total revenue minus your expenses. So to set up a formula to automatically calculate that, in this case, we're going to hit the equal sign. Just click on the cell, or you can click up here in this bar. This is the formula bar. So, but if you type in the cell, click on the cell, it will automatically pull up on the formula bar here as well. Okay, so it's equal sign that lets Sheets know that you're starting an equation. Lets you know that you're starting an equation. And then we're going to click on the cell that has our revenue amount. So in this case, it would be A3. So I'm going to click on it, and you see how it adds A3. And then we're going to hit the subtraction sign, and then go and click our expenses, which in this case is A6. So you can, while it's in formula mode, you can click the cell, or you can manually type in the cell name, and it'll pop up either way. Okay. All right, so once we hit enter, boom, there it is. It'll automatically calculate. So our profit is $600. But now, since I have it based off the cell, anything that I change here, it will automatically adjust. So let's say now I'm going to do 5,000. And you see how it adjusted our profit to 4,600. Okay, well, let's say I had 1,000 in expenses. Okay, now it just drops it down to 4,000. By creating formulas, this is what will allow you to just plug and play your numbers, and Google Sheets will do all the math for you. Okay, so let me go back to our original numbers. Everybody understanding so far? Now we've got a few in here. Oh, my hotspot was, it was still on and off. But if you are having a hard time, like I said, I am on YouTube Live. That's where you can see where what I'm actually doing. And if you don't have YouTube, or I don't know who doesn't at this point, but you can always go to YouTube, One Crafted Mama 20. This will also be on YouTube. Since it is on live, it should actually be uploaded immediately once I end the stream. So you're more than welcome to go over there and watch the video. Okay, so now we see that we have our profit here. That's $500.
Is my phone connected to Wi-Fi or connected to your hotspot?
It was connected to my hotspot, I think.
Why?
Because I had an unstable connection on the Wi-Fi. Okay. It was sticking.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah. It's lagging.
Yeah, because I walked away.
My iPad's in the bedroom. All right, so we've got our profit. Now that we know our profit's $500. So now we talked about, having to pay yourself first. So that'll be the next thing that we can do. This is where, you need to figure out your business loans, whatever it may be. So let's scroll back up here. Let's scroll to the left, not up. There we go. Okay. So easy enough. Like I said, formula is not that super difficult. Just remember, the formula is always put the equal sign to start. and then you just click on the cell. So in this case, it's how you would do it on paper. You take your revenue and then you subtract it from your expenses. So in this case, that's what the A3 and the A6 is, because that's the name of the cells that are in there. And it'll automatically calculate. Now we need to find out what our allocated profit is. So we'll do profit for allocation. Now, if you remember, or if you were tuning in yesterday, I talked about having an allocation for profit. This is once you figure out your profit. This is figuring out things like having to pay a business loan back, needing to pay yourself, things like that. Let me go grab my numbers real quick. I just thought about that. Bryant, hey Bryant. All right. A profit for allocation, if you remember, this is what we would have available after we were setting aside things like paying yourself as the owner, setting aside taxes, things like that. And then if you want to, like, let's say you were typing and it extended past the cell like this one was. If you go to the column, when it turns to this arrow here, and it's the same for if you're using Windows as well, if you double click, it will automatically adjust it to fit the entire word in there. So same deal here. You see how business is going out over the line here. I hit this arrow and it expands it out so that it all fits nice and neat in the column. All right, so now I need to create another formula here. First, we need to get some things going here. So let's say, so let's do a business loan. I know many of you guys may not have a business loan, but we'll just put it there just so I can show you what I'm talking about. So it's a business loan. We got taxes. And then we'll just label this self-pay. Remember, this is just what the bare minimum that you need. Actually, let's do this over here. Business loan, taxes, self-pay. Let's back up a little bit. So I'm just trying to keep this in a column. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to make sense. I mean, it has to make sense to you, because you can do it wherever. Once you learn how to put the formulas in, you can do whatever you want to do with it. So let's do taxes and self-pay. I just want to keep it in the column so it's easier for you to see. Let's delete that. All right. So let's say the business loan, again, let's go ahead and formulate this. And you don't have to put numbers in here. If you want to format this to be able to have currency, you just hit it, boom, it's there. All right, so let's say you had a small business loan. So let's say, just do a nice even number. Let's say 50 bucks. Okay. Now remember, taxes. We want your taxes. I recommended, what did I tell you about? Usually 25 to 30% of your profit. Okay, so setting up a formula for that is a bit different. So to set up the way to auto calculate this, we're going to click on underneath taxes or wherever that cell is going to be. Once again, hit the equal sign. And sometimes sheets will try to recognize what you're doing and try to offer suggestions for the formula you're trying to do. Don't worry about that. Just continue typing. So like once I type something in else, it'll go away. So you don't always have to take that suggestion. Sometimes it's nice if you're doing the same thing repeatedly, that recognizes that and it will try to get you up and going. Other times, unfortunately, it'd be like, that's not what I want to do. Just go in with what you want to do and you'll be good to go. So to figure out taxes, I hit the equal sign. We're going to come over here to a profit. Just click on that A14 and then going to hit the asterisk mark on your keyboard, which is usually on most keyboard, at least on every keyboard I know. You hold shift down and hit your 8 number key, and that usually will pull up the asterisk key, or if you got a nice little number pad. 25 to 30%, whatever number it is, we hit 0.25 because percentages, you convert it to decimals. So 25% is 0.25. Hit enter, it will automatically auto-calculate. So again, because we have it with the named cell, anytime this changes, it has the formula to automatically adjust what this amount is. So once again, let me change my expenses again. Let's say 200. Okay, 800, and then it automatically change what the what I should set aside for taxes, and that's at 25%. So if you want to make this whatever, maybe it's 10 or self-pay. Typically, your self-pay is it's a set number for you. You know exactly how much you need to sustain yourself on a regular basis. But let's say your business is more in the hobby stage. It's just something for you that you do as a side hustle. So like you don't necessarily need to be paid by this because all your other bills and anything like that is being paid already by maybe another job that you have, or maybe your spouse takes care of the bills and lets you have whatever for your hobby, whatever it may be. If you're getting disability, this or that, and the whole nine. So let's say for self-pay, let's say maybe you want to keep, just say 200. Okay. So now we'll come down here to our profit for allocation. So remember, after what's going on here, once again, I'm starting a formula. Hit equal. It lets it know that you're starting an equation. And we're going to take our profit, click on the cell, which is A14. And then we are going to, I'm doing this the hard way. Let me back up for a little bit. So let me get this totaled first, and then this is why it'll be a lot easier. So I want the total. So I'll start the equation equal to recognize that words are in there. So it's not going to try to include the words. It's just only going to pick up the numbers. So I drug from the start of the cell to the one I wanted to end, and that's what that semicolon is. What that semicolon is telling its value is I want you to add from this cell all the way down to the last cell. Then you'll hit enter. Okay, no, I'm sorry. I don't have this set up that way. So what we'll do is we'll just individually click. So right now I have B5, and what's nice about Sheets in Excel is that it highlights what you are doing. So B5, it's the orange cell. So I'm going to hold Control, and I'm sorry, Control. Control is for Windows. It's the command key for. So we'll just do this. So I'll just add a plus sign, and that way it should allow me to add each, and it lines up purple cell name. All right, and then I hit another plus sign, and then hit Control and add self-pay. And then once you have all your cells added, you hit enter, and it will calculate. 375. All right, is what we have kind of after all of our operating expenses, or after all of our expenses, excuse me, operating and overhead. So now to figure out how much we have to put back into our business, what we're going to do is hit equal to start another formula, click over here to our profit, and then we're going to subtract the profit. Once again, since we're having it reference the cell, anytime these numbers change, everything will automatically calculate. So right now we know we have $125. $125. So let's say you want, let's go, first of all, let's name this. And of course, you don't have to have this in here. I'm just trying to show you guys examples. So our investment list, let's run an investment list. Let's say tumbler press. All right, so your tumbler press is, you want a new tumbler press in, let's say 3 months. So 3 months typically is like 90 days. So I just put 90. Say the tumbler press that you want that's going to be great, let's say that it's $300. Whoopsies. Like I said, it's up to you. If you want to make it currency, you're more than welcome to format it. If you just want the cell, just click on the cell itself, click on the money symbol, and with me just a second here. I want to make sure that. All right, so correction. Let's do months. It's probably easier to do months. So 3 months. Your investment list is nice and even. We'll sign to start the symbol, and like I said, see, this is how it's trying to multiply by it. If you hit tab, it will automatically fill that formula in. I don't want to tab it, so I just want to 3 months. So head over there. I'm just keeping this up just for audio and to let people know. So this I want to focus on was making sure you got that tumbler press. Actual profit we have to reinvest, $25 left over. Profit. Things you have to take a look for. Other things, if you just type up how to do a profit formula or something like that in Google, there are probably some people, if there was like a complex formula, take a step if you know what you're looking for. Allocation percent. I mean, it's not good business. If this was the case for the month, we were able to reinvest 25% of the profit back into the business, or back into what would be available for the business. All right, so it's not bad. It's not a bad month at all. So this is just a short example, and we still have time. I know some of you like to take notes. Like, as soon as I finish live, YouTube is pretty quick about processing and making the video available. So it should be available as a video on demand as soon as we are done streaming here. For those of you who have been on TikTok or are watching, let's say there is a separate logo. Jesus. Expenses. So this is, so if you want to like center or make something take up, so let's say expenses, I want it to have 2 columns. You'll go here, this little box here, this is merge sales, so you can merge the sales. And then I usually like to have it centered when it's a named column. So I'll hit the align over here. Boom, now it's centered. So I know this is my expense column. So let's just put a few things here. Let's just say, marketing, do supplies. And you can even break down your supplies further. You can have all of that stuff in there as well. For the sake of a demonstration, we're just going to do supplies. So let's say we got marketing, there's supplies. So let's do, here we go. Let's do crafting supplies. Let's do supplies. Supplies. No, that was right. Let's do packaging material. We'll just do that for now because the list could literally go on. So let's say maybe you just run a small little ad. Maybe that's $20 or so for that. Say maybe you spent say $200 on crafting supplies, and maybe another $150 on your packaging material. That could include, you know, whatever you may consider. I know for my wife, when I include packing material, that's like paper shred, any type of boxes or envelopes that needs to be purchased, tape, things like that. That's all rolled under packaging material. All right, so we got our expenses labeled here. We can do one of two things. You can create a total column and do like we've done already before. Hit equal, and you see this time this suggestion is perfect. It's saying, hey, or do you want the sum of this range of numbers right here? Always look for a dotted line when you're doing formulas, and that will tell you what you're looking at. So if you want that one, you just hit tab and it will automatically fill it in. Look at that, and there's the sum right there. So it lets me know that $370 is what my expenses were for there. All right, the other thing, let's say, okay, that's all fine and dandy, but I left a few columns. So let's say, oh man, I forgot to add something. Let's say that I wanted to add, let's say you got some software or something. Let's say there's technology that you pay for. So let's say your software is like $35 a month. Well, we have a problem because that sum we had only included these numbers here. As you can hover over, click on your formula and see. Well, how do you get that to add more to it? That is fairly simple. So you can go back into your formula here, either here or up top, and you see the number cell here. We would just add it. Okay. And then now it will auto calculate that. All right. And so that's how. So just be mindful of it, that every time. So you can either do one or two things. So that was the first thing. The second thing you could do is maybe you have a column. So see how we have a couple extra spaces here from E15 and E16. If I click on my formula.
Just make sure you pack his bag and bring him to us before you go to work.
Okay.
I'll off my phone, please.
Okay. And so you'll hit E16 and it'll go down there. Now the beauty about this is I hit enter and you see the amount didn't change. That's because it's zero in there. So it's not going to mess up the formula or anything. And then that way, let's say, for example, just random expense. And let's do 20 bucks. Now you don't have to go back and manually add it in. You've already included it in part of the formula. So that way it is right there. You don't have to keep going back and manually changing the formula to add. You can just do a few spaces, which is what I typically do, and that way I can just go back and add. All right, so that's how you can, if you want to separate your expenses, like I said, you can separate your operating, you can separate your overhead, you can do whatever you want to do. Like I said, once you get that total, same deal. So we can adjust the formula over here. So let's say instead of my expenses here, let's say I just want to use my new expense total. So I took that away. Once again, just click on the cell you're looking for, hit enter, and it will adjust it. And see how everything else also adjusted as well. So my profit changed to $575, which meant that my taxes changed because, I'm still looking to save 25%. So I automatically adjusted. This is what I should take out of that profit in order to set aside for taxes. Then we still got our $200 self-pay. Okay, so now that adjusts the total, the total, because remember we did the formula based off the sale to $393.75. And then once again, that formula we created for allocation, all it's doing is taking those numbers and auto calculating the math. Now guess what? Well, now that we changed the amount, it's a bit less in expenses. Now we're finding out, man, we've been able to have 31% of our income available for reinvestment, which is a great place to be in. Some businesses, they will go as far as like doing 50%. Like I said, it's up to you. This is just the general recommendation is typically about 20 to 30%. All right, so now we know, oh man, I had $181. So same deal. If the only thing that you have that you wanted to invest in, you should always have multiple things to invest in. And it will, of course, now, okay, $100, boom. Now I'm closer to my tumbler press. And then once again, you can decide to invest that $81.25 into something else on your list, or you can once again just pocket it yourself. Good morning, Grace Fire Design. We are creating, showing how to create a budget spreadsheet on Google Sheets. So I just had this live just for people to go to the YouTube. That's where you can actually see the screen and what I'm working on. I just got this audio portion up just for questions and just to get people over to the stream. Just makes it a lot easier just to click on the profile and go to the YouTube page from there. Okay. So there's that. I know it's a lot of information. If you're not tech savvy, it may seem like a lot, but I'm telling you, Google Sheets, it works almost just as good as Excel. For what you're looking to do with a budget, it can handle it. So until you're able to get QuickBooks or whatever bookkeeping software you may be able to do, I don't know if that they have like a monthly fee or if you purchase it outright. I'm not 100% sure. But like I said, and maybe that could be something you can now factor into your budget. I want to invest in, QuickBooks. I'm pretty sure everything has a monthly option, but let's say you don't want to pay monthly. Let's say you want to do yearly. See what the yearly cost is. Put it on your investment list. Figure out what time frame that you want to be able to have the QuickBooks. And once again, like I said, I got this formula over here. That way it can calculate what you need to invest monthly in order to reach that goal. And of course, I said I recommend having your investment list as a separate sheet, so that way you can keep track. You can just go adjust the numbers as needed. So once you completed your investment for whatever it may be, just delete it out of there and then just keep it going. Okay, let's see here. I am going to take a quick bathroom break. I will be right back. Let me see here. I'm using Streamlabs, so I'm trying to figure out how to there we go. All right, I will be right back, guys. TikTok, you guys are just going to see my chair. But like I said, I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, make sure the kiddo is okay, and I'll be right back. Okay, the template that you want, I always recommend spending a lot of time working, getting your template perfect, because now I can just hit duplicate. And let's rename this, and I'm just right clicking on everything. Rename, and this would be February. And then now you can just adjust your numbers from there. And then you'll have February, and then you just keep duplicating all the way through the full year. All right, so that'd be the easiest way to do that. Let's close out of that, okay? And then now I'll create a new sheet, and there'll be something fun I'll show you guys here. So let's just name this sheet totals. So I have to name my sheets when I do them. That everything has to. Let's do totals. It might help you out. June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 2, because with your template being set up the way that you want it to, it will make your life easy doing things like this here. So our profit. What did I say the other thing as? Let's see here. Reinvestment percentage. There it is. Sorry guys, I type loud. I don't know if it's coming through. All right, so this is just a simple, but you can keep going on if you want, like, you know, broke your expenses breaking down, things like that. There's so much you can do that you can set up a custom formula for that'll auto figure things out, and that way it takes the math out of your hands. Reference sheet. Okay, that's what it was. All right, so let's see if I'll get this right. So let's say for profit. So if you keep everything in the same workbook, so this, what we're working on right now, is called a workbook. Was A14 in its page. So I can hit equal. Let's see if I fully remember this or not. Which is the sheet name, exclamation mark, and the cell we're referencing, which is A14. Boom. That will automatically pull whatever is in that cell from this sheet. Control C or control copy, whichever one works for you. Hit control. I'm sorry. In this formula, the same, just change the sheet name. In this case, it'd be Feb. Just tell it not to do that. You can go back and change it. And then once again, it's pulling these amounts. And what this will do for you is you can see everything totaled for the year. So now I'll come down here to my totals. For my profit, I hit equals, and look, it's already suggesting what I'm wanting to do, which is find the sum for all these. So I just hit tab, or like I said, you set up ahead of time. So when you're filling that information out for the month, all the formulas are auto calculating and adjusting. And then the beauty about this is, since we're only figuring out the totals for everything, all we have to do is click here, and you see this small square. Once it turns into a cross, drag it over, you see the cell highlighted, and what that's doing is it is taking the formula over. So you see how this formula, it was B2, everything from B2 to B13. I dragged the formula over by doing that little box, and now it's going to add everything from C2 to C13. And then we're going to do the same thing for the reinvestment percentage as well. Now this, we want to make sure that this is percentage, so might as well go ahead and highlight this column and format allocation. Say profit allocation was here. That is B14. So we see here B14. Go to the total here, January, exclamation, B14. Just that easy. Just that easy. And then same deal. I can easily do that. Now, I understand you're not always going to drag it over. The beauty about it, if you do, you can always just hit the undo button and then figure out what actually you need to change, or click on the formula itself and manually change whatever it is that you need to. Like I said, referencing the sheets is a little bit more of an advanced technique, but I think that you sisters and brothers will probably be able to handle that. Last thing you want to do is the reinvestment percentage. That is B17. B17. So equal, which is B17. And there's the percentage there. And then it's not going to do it because see how it's B14. If I try to drag this over, it's going to show as C14, which there's nothing in there. So it's actually B17 is what we're needing to reference. So it'll be February. You know, you just go and manually change the forms if you are lucky. And this breaks down the total. And let's do monthly based off of what's coming on here. So, but you take that once maybe you hit the end of the year, and let's say you divide it by 12. The profit stayed the same. You're pulling about $95 of profit a month. Then we'll just, like I said, just drag everything over of what you're looking for. So once you get your totals, you can create formulas that you would need in order to figure out what you're doing. So like maybe after January, February, or March, maybe your reinvestment percentage, you're averaging maybe about 25%. Okay, you're good to go. That's what you're looking for. Okay, so that's pretty much it. The video, you want to do more research on it, you're more than welcome to, like I said, Google things. I'm not a quote unquote expert myself. This is just things that I had to allow me as a manager. I kept up with our revenue, our expenses, profit, things like that, and bookkeeping that you can keep and play with. Like I said, make sure you spend time getting your template down to the way that you want to. Once you are satisfied with it, then I would recommend starting duplicating it for the other months. It just makes it a whole lot easier with stuff monthly, quarterly, yearly, how those things go like that. All right, guys. So I said I'm about to end the stream here. It should be available on YouTube almost immediately whenever it gets finished making the video on demand. And so for everyone who is here on TikTok, so go over to One Crafted Mama 20 on YouTube. Coming out, I'm hoping that this is helping you guys out, working out for you. If you have questions for me, I am Hobby Hubby 573, the Hobby Hubby 573 on TikTok. I'm Hobby Hubby 573 on all my other social media as well too. But my stuff is mainly focused on things like miniature wargaming and other tabletop games. So, all right, guys, I have to hop off of here. I will be back tomorrow morning. I'm not 100% sure what the topic is going to be yet. We're still going to be discussing, of course, budgeting.
Funds.
E-funds. That's right. All right. So we'll talk about having an e-fund set aside for your business, which is very important. All right, guys. Have a great day. Go forth and do great crafts.
Bye.